Hello, I'm Romany O'Malley. I have been working with AIG for 6.5 years, and I'm responsible for all of the UK business that is outside London. So we have branches in Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow and many other locations. I'm also responsible for our industrial segment, which looks at the industries of our clients across commercial Europe. So when we think about insurance, often people think about their car or insuring their house, but actually everything you look at pretty much has insurance attached to it. So what AIG does, whether you see there's a bridge or a rocket launch and everything in between, AIG insures large commercial risks, small projects, companies, people's travel, so a really broad range of things. So insurance is often more than meets the eye. AIG is a big company. We're in more than 95 countries globally. We have more than 60,000 employees and everyone from a really diverse background. So we've got people from all different cultures, genders, ethnicities, everything. It's a really diverse group, which is fantastic. And we really value diversity. So for example, we have what we call employee resource groups, which are really like a club that anyone can participate in on any particular issue that they're interested in. So whether that is young professionals, LGBT, working families, women, there's many different areas, and those groups are really run by employees, they're chaired by employees and they're steered by employees, but they're supported by the business, by AIG, because what we realise is that diversity really breeds innovation, and AIG is about innovation, so we're very supportive of that. And often our innovation is in areas that is beyond insurance. So it's not only about insurance. It's about improving safety. It's about reducing the risk of things happening in the first place. So to give you an example, we have a partnership with a company in the US called Human Condition Safety, and they are developing wearable technology which is usable in a number of different areas. But for example, for construction workers on a site, they can wear that technology with sensors that will prevent them having an accident. So we have a lot of innovations like that, whether that's with drones, with risk prevention. We also have a traffic light innovation program going on in New York. There's many different interesting innovations there. And a lot of those ideas come from our employees. So they're employee ideas that make their way into an innovation channel, and then they can become something bigger, which is really exciting. We're also really embedded in our communities. A lot of the locations we are in those countries we've been in for decades, so a really long time. And we're very supportive of our employees' efforts to be engaged with their communities. So for example, AIG has spent $7.9 million on matching employees' contributions to the charities of their choice. So we're a very engaged, supportive company. Well, maybe I can share a little bit of my story. I joined AIG in South Africa at the beginning of 2010, where I'd moved there with my husband. And so I spent a number of years in South Africa, but also working across Africa with AIG. So I did a lot of work in Kenya and Uganda, in Botswana and Zimbabwe. I had fantastic opportunities there in an emerging markets environment to get some really great experience. From there I went to a really mature environment, to Brussels, and I spent 3.5 years running the Brussels business, based in Belgium obviously, and again just a completely different experience, you know, a lot of connection with the EU and obviously all of the developments that are happening there, so that was a fascinating time. And I've now taken a new role back in the UK at the beginning of June this year. So even in the 6.5 years I've been with AIG, I've had many different roles. I've worked in many different countries. I think that AIG is the kind of company where if you show potential and curiosity and you work hard and you use all the support that's available to you, there are many different opportunities to do different things, to travel. It's a fantastic company for that, and I think there's really wide open space for someone who is a self-starter, who's motivated and who's curious and interested in doing different things. It's been great sharing with you my experience at AIG, and now I'm going to hand over to some of my colleagues who are going to give you some insight into what being a graduate at AIG is like.
Hi, my name is Pooya Jafari. I joined the Trade Credit Department in the Analyst Program now in July 2016. I studied international relations in university, and I was looking at ways of breaking into finance and finding something that suits me. I did some courses in political economy, and I found that what I really find interesting is trade, global trade flows, capital markets, things like that. And I found that doing trade credit, I could combine all of those things. When I graduated from university, I was worried that I would stop learning on a daily basis by doing my day-to-day tasks. But at AIG, I'm really learning a lot. The people around me are so helpful, they're very knowledgeable, and I'm challenging myself every day. Something really good that they're doing at AIG is that they allow you to take ownership of your career from the onset. So I had a meeting with my boss and I said, honestly, this is what I want to do the next few years. Here are my objectives and I want support for X, Y, Z. And I was surprised to hear him say, okay, let's do it, we'll support you. There's innovation across all departments. In my department, we're using financial technology in very interesting ways that I'd never even considered before I started here. Gives me an opportunity to learn a lot about technology at the same time as I'm doing my normal job in trade credit. Now is a really good time to join insurance because with new regulations, insurance is taking over a lot of traditional banking products or supplementing them. I think that the financial services in general are growing again after a long, slow period.
Hi, my name's Hannah. I work in environmental impairment underwriting and I joined in May 2015. I think the main attributes of a job I was weighing up before applying were a good work-life balance, having a lot of responsibility from the start and being able to really make a difference. And I felt like insurance really does incorporate those elements. It's known to be quite a social industry. A lot of my job is talking to and meeting new people. And I do think that insurance does have quite an important social role to play. You're really just trying to help people get back to where they were before a loss, which on a personal level means helping businesses and individuals get back on their feet after something kind of terrible has happened, which I think is it's a positive thing to be doing, and compared to a lot of financial services, there's a really obvious social benefit. So your first week at AIG is kind of settling in, getting to know your team, getting all the boring IT set up, and then after that you go and spend several weeks in New York with all the other analysts, training together. It's a really intense experience where you learn a lot, but it's also amazingly good fun. And then from there, when you come back, you really hit the ground running and join your team and really get responsibility from the off. You don't stay as an independent graduate for very long. I think one of the most innovative things going on at AIG at the moment is the fact that the senior staff are really open to talking to and communicating with junior staff such as myself. As part of the grad scheme, there was the opportunity to present back to our global CEO on ideas that people have had. And as part of that, a really cool, innovative idea of using gum guards that detect concussion as part of our health insurance packages was an idea that came out of that, and that is being used. And that not only is an innovative idea, but I think it's really innovative that our global CEO and our really senior board members are willing to listen and take on ideas of new staff. I think you can really take your career wherever you want. At AIG, it really depends on where you think your skill set lies and where your interests lie. So for me personally, I started in one team, but I was really forthcoming about what I wanted to experience and said I was really open to trying new things. And from there, I moved on to another team for 1 day a week and now work on that team permanently. I think it was really great that AIG were open to be moving so early on, really letting me find my skill set and what I wanted to do. And I think that says a lot about where you can personally take your career at AIG. As a woman working in insurance, it's a really exciting time to join because the London market and Lloyd's of London have really embraced diversity in the workforce. The London market has this new initiative called Ensuring Women's Futures, which is part of the UN's He for She. And so that's a really cool thing to be part of. It's a really cool time to be in the industry, and especially with Lloyd's having its first female CEO, it's a really exciting time for us.
Okay, so my name is Dimitri de la Mazière. I'm working at AIG in strategy and M&A since 2 months right now. So I've done 2 bachelor degrees, so one in international economy, one in finance, and then I pursue with a master in corporate and market finance. And I chose to be in London because it's a major city for finance. It's the European capital and one of the 3 biggest hubs of finance in the world. Well, AIG because first is the largest insurer in the world, so worldwide footprint, worldwide recognition. If I want to have exposure as international like the US, Europe, Asia, I say AIG and people know that that's an American insurance group. I arrived and there was half-year results out and a board meeting, so I had to go straight in, diving straight in, a whole lot of work. So I had to do all the competitors review, the market review to prepare the board deck for the CFO of AIG. So it was pretty interesting because in 2 weeks I learned what I would have learned in 1 year somewhere else. The insurance industry is shifting from an old school model where brokers go in the street and like go in the bars to make deals to a very digitalized environment. So I think it's a good entry point right now. Well, I think there is plenty of opportunity at AIG because people are moving around a lot, and the fact that in my department I get very high exposure to very senior management can open doors.
So what I would say if you're thinking about the insurance industry or thinking about AIG, look beyond your initial assumptions about what insurance is about, because it's a fascinating market to work in. And if you're a really motivated person, if you're a self-starter, if you're prepared to take risks, then AIG is the kind of company that will take risks with you and give you opportunities. So if that really fits your type of personality and you're interested in doing different things, AIG can be a really great company to join.